Imagine walking into a room and all of a sudden, everyone's eyes are on you. Your heart starts to beat faster. Your palms start to sweat. And your mind starts to ask, what are they thinking about me? Am I good enough? What if I say the wrong thing? This is the moment when fear of judgment and scrutiny kicks in, a feeling most of us are familiar with. In fact, since childhood, we have been taught to be obedient and listen. These teachings, although necessary to a certain extent, sometimes unintentionally plant in our minds a hidden fear of authority, fear of being criticized, fear of doing something different. And when we grow up, every time we stand in front of someone who is richer, more talented, or has a higher status, we easily put ourselves in a lower position. In just a moment, we lose our inherent confidence and let fear take over our entire being. Have you ever noticed? When you meet someone you consider talented to you, you tend to lower your voice, avoid eye contact, or even refrain from expressing your opinion. This may sound harmless, but the truth is that every time you do this, you are training yourself to have a habit, the habit of lowering your own value. And over time, this habit becomes ingrained in your subconscious, causing you to always see yourself through the lens of fear instead of confidence. What are the consequences? First, you lose your own voice. How many ideas, opinions, or feelings have never been expressed? Just because you think, the other person is definitely more right than me. Second, you lose respect from others. Because people only respect those who respect themselves. If you are always timid and evasive, others will not see in you the necessary stability to give you trust. And finally, you lock yourself in the dark. You live a life dominated by the eyes, words, and authority of others, instead of living a life that is your own. I want you to ask yourself, how many times have you stayed silent because you were afraid of being judged? How many times have you gone back on your word because the person you were talking to seemed more important? And how many times have you let opportunities pass you by because you thought you weren't worthy enough? Each time you do that, you're not only missing out on opportunities, you're also losing a part of your self-confidence. The important thing to realize is that fear doesn't come from others. It comes from within you. Others may just give you a glance, but you turn that glance into a sharp knife that stabs your self-confidence. Others may just say something normal, but you magnify it into a judgment on your self-worth. So the first step to breaking free from the fear loop is to change your perception. They have no power over you other than the power you give them. People who are richer than you, more successful than you, or more powerful than you, they are just human beings, with their own anxieties, mistakes, and hurts. When you understand that, you will see that there is no reason to be afraid. Remember, if you continue to let fear rule you, you will continue to miss opportunities, lose respect, and live a mediocre life. But if you dare to stand up, dare to look straight, dare to speak your mind, you will realize that this world is not as scary as you think. You are the one who gives power to fear, and you are the one who can take it back. Have you ever wondered why you are afraid of someone? It could be your boss at work, a rich and famous person, or just a cold face you accidentally met on the street. The truth is that we often exaggerate the image of others in our minds. We think they are great, powerful, completely different from us. But stop for a moment and look at the reality. They are all just human. They also have to eat to live, sleep to rest, also have times when they are sick, tired, also make mistakes and regret. Just like you, the difference lies only in the role they play in society, not in their human nature. But what scares you is not that they are so powerful, but that you have allowed your mind to exaggerate that difference. You think they care about your every move, your every word. You think their gaze is a stern judgment. But the harsh truth is that most people don't care about you that much. They are busy worrying about their own lives, their own jobs, their own problems. The fear you feel is a product of your imagination, and you are the one who creates that giant shadow in your head. This is where a different kind of thinking comes in, the Stoic way of thinking, which has been around for thousands of years and is still relevant today. The Stoics believe that there are things within our control, and there are things completely beyond our control, and wisdom lies in knowing the difference. You can't control how other people look at you, or whether they judge you, but you can control your attitude, your composure, and how you react. Marcus Aurelius, The great Stoic emperor once wrote in his book Meditations, "If it is beyond your control, let it go." This saying seems simple, but it is a principle of life to help you escape from fear. Imagine, if today you stand before a powerful person, instead of saying to yourself, "They are better than me, I have to be careful," try thinking, "Their judgment is not in my hands. The only thing I can control is my own calmness." When you maintain that calmness, no one's gaze or power can touch your mind. Ask yourself this question. If you were to walk into a room full of powerful people tomorrow, would you choose to bow your head in shame? Or would you choose to stand up straight? Take a deep breath, and remind yourself that they are only human. The choice is yours, and that choice will determine whether you live a life ruled by fear, or a life where you are the master of your inner peace. Stoicism is not about pretending to be strong, but about learning to distinguish between what you can control and what you must let go of. Once you understand this, you will no longer be intimidated by anyone's gaze or power. You will find yourself standing firm, calm, and freer than ever before. You see, true confidence doesn't come from how much money you have in your bank account, where you stand in society, or how many people compliment you. Lasting confidence comes from only one place, from within yourself. When you know your worth, you will no longer be swayed by anyone's looks or judgments. Remember, others may be richer than you, better than you, or more famous than you, but no one can replace you. Everyone has a unique path, a unique talent, a unique mission, and so do you. Just think, if this world was full of perfect copies of each other, what would be the point of living, of making a mark? It is your difference, the thing that makes you unlike anyone else, that creates true value. But how do you cultivate that confidence? The trick is to focus on your strengths. Instead of constantly comparing yourself to others and feeling inferior, take some time to look at yourself. What do you do well? What abilities do you have that few others can do? When you know what you have, when you put your energy into developing those strengths, you will realize that confidence does not need external validation. It comes from the feeling, "I know who I am, and I know what I can do." Think about it. If you're a good listener and empath, that's a strength. You might be a great friend, a trusted colleague, or a beloved leader. If you're good at analyzing and coming up with solutions, that's also a strength. Instead of envying the charismatic talker, develop your analytical skills. When you tap into your strengths, you'll be less likely to get sucked into meaningless comparisons. However, confidence is not just a mindset. It needs to be expressed outwardly through small actions. And sometimes, just a small change can make a big difference. For example, when you speak, look the other person directly in the eye. Don't look down at the ground. Don't look away. A steady gaze sends a strong message that you are an equal, that you are not inferior, you have the right to be heard, and that you believe in what you say, or your voice. You don't have to shout to prove you're strong. Instead, speak slowly, clearly, and in a deep, steady tone. A calm tone not only makes others respect you more, but it also makes you feel more secure. Notice how influential people are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who say the least, but each word is sure and weighty. And here's another tip. Instead of avoiding it, ask questions. When you ask, you not only break the awkward silence, but you also put yourself in the driver's seat of the conversation. For example, if someone criticizes you, instead of keeping your head down, you can ask, "Can you tell me specifically what I didn't do well so I can improve?" This question shows confidence and puts you in control of the situation. Try to apply these little things in your daily life: a straight look, a calm voice, a timely question. Each of these small actions is like building blocks, gradually creating a solid foundation for your inner confidence. And when your inner self is strong, no one can make you tremble anymore. Imagine you're about to enter a conversation with a powerful person, maybe a big boss at your company, a major investor, or even a politician or celebrity. Your heart is pounding, your palms are sweating, and a million questions are running through your head. Do they think less of me? What if I say the wrong thing? Am I good enough to stand up to them? This is the moment when many people feel a sense of dread. But the truth is, powerful people are only human. They are not supermen. They make mistakes, fail, and have their own pressures and fears that outsiders cannot see. No matter how good a leader is, He or she has sleepless nights of worry. No matter how successful an entrepreneur is, he or she has experienced self-doubt. Understanding this, you will see that you and they are not so different that you should be afraid. More importantly, you need to change your mindset. Stop putting them in a higher position than you. They're just playing a different social role, not inherently superior to you. You and they are both human beings, sharing the same foundation, life, emotions, joys, sorrows. If you always think you are inferior, you will make yourself inferior. But if you look straight and say to yourself, we are just in two different positions, but our human values are equal, you will maintain the necessary calmness and confidence. And when you need help, never go into a conversation begging. Asking makes you small, exchanging makes you an equal. Approach every conversation as an equal. You have something to offer, and they have something to offer. The fear will gradually disappear, because you have turned the conversation into a win-win relationship, not a superior-inferior relationship. But to do that, you need to practice something important, inner discipline. Practice accepting the worst. What's the worst that can happen? They might reject you, they might judge you, but does that take away your true worth? Not at all. Your worth is not in the approval or praise of others. It's in you, in your effort, in your character, in what you're trying to build every day. Another way to develop inner discipline is to put yourself in difficult situations to learn how to stay calm. You can practice speaking in front of a mirror, so you can get used to looking people in the eye. You can try giving a presentation to a small group of friends before doing it in front of a larger group. Each time you do this, you are training your mind to say, I can do this, I don't need to be afraid. And little by little, you will build up your inner stability. Finally, remember, powerful people are not scary. What is scary is how you see them. If you see them as superheroes, you will feel small, but if you see them as human, you will see that they have the same weaknesses, fears, and limitations as you, and then you will enter any conversation with calm, confidence, and authority. If you've made it this far, you're probably asking yourself, so how can I live without fearing anyone? The answer is actually simpler than you might think, but it requires courage to apply it to your daily life. The key lesson is, never put yourself down. Someone may have more money, knowledge, or status than you, but that doesn't mean they have the right to scare you. You can admire someone, learn from them, but never let admiration turn into self-deprecation. Because once you bow your head for too long, you will forget that you have your own value, that you also deserve to stand up and face others. Remember, you were not born to live in someone else's shadow. You were born to write your own story. And that story can only begin when you dare to say, I am not inferior to anyone. I can learn, but I will not be afraid. When you live without fear, the first thing you get in return is confidence. Confidence does not mean you know everything, but you are not afraid to take steps when there is still something you do not know. It is the strength that makes you dare to speak up, dare to express your opinion, dare to try and dare to make mistakes. And it is from that confidence that others will begin to respect you. People naturally respect those who respect themselves. When you show calmness, steady eyes, and firmness in your words, you will see a change in the way others treat you. They will listen more, pay more attention, and sometimes, they will treat you as an equal, rather than as a subordinate. And the best part is, when you let go of fear, more opportunities will open up before you than ever before. Opportunities in work, valuable relationships, and even new experiences that you previously rejected out of fear. Fear is like an invisible chain that holds you back, and when you let go of it, you will see life open up in a way that you never had before. The final message I want to send you is clear: the eyes, the words, or the power of others only have power when you allow them to affect you. If you stand tall, if you keep your mind calm, then no one can make you tremble. Imagine one day you walk into a crowded room, and instead of bowing your head, you hold it up high. Take a deep breath, and say to yourself, I am no less than anyone else here. I am who I am. And that is enough. Then you will feel a new energy flow into your life, the energy of freedom, confidence, and courage. Life is too short to live in fear. Don't wait any longer. Start today, this moment, and live a life where you are not afraid of anyone. If you feel today's message touches you, Don't forget to click like to spread this power share for those who need it. And subscribe to channel so you don't miss the lessons that will help you become stronger and freer every day. Speech balloon, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below. What's something that scared you? And how did you overcome it? Right finger, let's build a community of people who are no longer bound by fear.